Okay, this is the beginning of the second segment for the parameterizing of an assembly. And here is where we left off last time. What I'd like to do now is to go and create certain parameters at the assembly level. So first make sure that you are there at the assembly level, as you can see, and then uh, uh, look under the tools, and down here in the utility action bar, look for engineering specification. Now, if you can't find it, look a little bit harder. So let's see now. Let me try this one more time. Uh, let's see. Hmm. There. Okay. You gotta look. These arrows are kind of nuisance. So you have to uh, notice that I'm looking for this guy, engineering specification. So I'm going to click on it. What it does, uh, you can rename it as you wish. So let me rename this thing and say engineering specification underscore assembly parameterization. Name that you want. So when you say OK, this is what happened. In the tree, you get this extra line showing up. It says knowledge engineering specification, assembly parameterization. OK. And there's nothing in it right now. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on f of x, the formula. OK. And we can create three parameters of the type length. Okay, so new parameters. Why don't I call this thing? Sorry, why don't I call this thing uh, h h? And let me give you a nominal value. Remember that nominal value of the h was 30. I'm going to make it 30. Okay, and then another one. This one I'm going to call it. This one I'm going to call it W. And W was actually, let's see now, what was W? Oh, I'm sorry. That W is what I wanted to call it, to give the value 30, and H, let's say 60. That's okay, we can do that. So let's see now, W, the value 30. Okay, that's done. And this H, I wanted to make it, let's make it 90. Okay, fine. Another one, L is the pad length. Okay, so let me change the name of this thing to be L. Change it to be L. And some, let's say, default 20 millimeter. And finally, I want to select, I want to create something which is called alpha, and it's actually of unit angle. So put the cursor in this box, select angle, double click, and then give it a name. New parameter, I'm going to call this thing alpha. Alpha. Okay. And the nominal value that I used for this was, I believe it was 45 degrees. Now you can see what happens. We have created these renamed parameters. These are the values, these are defaults and default values that we have. Right now, they have absolutely no relationship with my uh, assembly. Now, by the way, if you look in here, if you expand this thing, these values appear in the tree. And I want to remind you how we can make sure that these appear in my tree. So it was the me icon on the preferences, under infrastructure, and then 3D infrastructure, display tab, make sure these things are checked. Otherwise, you won't be able to see these values here. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to f of x. And by the way, let me click on select this line, this engineering specification line, and it shows you that these things were actually created. Okay, good. Now the question is, how are my parts related to uh, these variables? So let me try to do this thing. For example, I click on the wedge, and notice that I get my, let me click on it, where's the wedge? The wedge was right here. Okay, there. I have this thing which is my W, and this is alpha, and this is L. Now what I want to say is I want to say, for example, this dimension is equal to L. Let me try. So first of all, I select that, and I say add a formula, look, it says this parameter cannot be evaluated by formula, it does not belong to the current document. Say okay. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to go to that wedge. So I'm going to double click on the wedge so that I end up in the part design. So I end up in basically that part, or double click here. I end up in the part. There, I'm in part design, right there, you can see that. Then I do tools, f of x, okay, and I select this wedge so that I get my dimensions on it. Now I select this 20 millimeter dimension, okay, and I say add a formula. This time it will not complain because now I'm part design. Now, notice that what I want to say that this is equal to L. The problem is that when I select it like that, it puts the 20 millimeters there, not the actual variable H or L that I'm allowed to change. So what I do instead, I don't select L from here right away. Let me backspace here. I select the line which says engineering or knowledge engineering specification. Now I select the L from here. So either I type this line, entire line on that in that space, or I just double click on it and it puts it for me there. And then we say okay. Good. You get this message, automatic update, question mark, say yes. You get another message. It says the parameter L cannot be pointed directly. It has been replaced by external parameter L. Don't panic. Say okay, no problem. And notice that what happened here is that it created these external parameters based on that message. Now let's do it again. This edge, this is going to be my W. Select it, add a formula. Don't select W from here because it uses 30 millimeter. I don't want that. I want the actual parameter name. So you click on the knowledge engineering specification, and then select W from here, double click on it, and then say OK. Once again, automatic update. Don't panic. OK. Now this angle. So select the angle, add the formula. Don't select alpha. First select the main row right here, the main row, and then alpha from here. Double click, and then we say OK. And yes, and OK. So we are done with this. Now I have to repeat the same thing for the box. The only problem is that when I click on the box, yes, the dimensions do appear. I can see that, but we're going to run into the same problem. If I selected this and say, for example, it's equal to L, it's going to complain that this does not belong to the current document. So that being the case, we close this. Now we move to the box. Double click on the part so that you go to the box. Now in the box, we're in the box. So click on f of x. Click on it. It shows you all the dimensions that you want, and you go through the same routine. So select this dimension, which is your padded length. Add the formula. Double click on L. And OK. Say OK. Select this thing, which is going to be our W. The formula, that's going to be our W. Yes, and OK. Select this is going to be our H. The formula, uh, the, uh, the main row, knowledge engineering specification tool, and this is going to be our H. Yeah, say OK, don't panic. And then the alpha, the formula, and alpha, and OK. All right, good. Let's save everything. Save. Now we can go and change the values. Let's try. For example, let me take the L. L is the padded length. Oh, wait a minute. I just realized something. That's okay. Let me select this and let me change this thing to 60. Update. There. Okay, so actually these are, I'm pretty sure these are 60, but all right, let's move on. Okay, let's move on. Uh, alpha. Let me change it to 90. Remember, if you put an unreasonable number, the sketch uh, may not work. How about W? Let's try to 10. Okay, good. The only thing that bothers me is that these don't seem to be the same length. Well, I'm not sure actually. Let me measure these things. I'm going to do this thing in this. I'll do a little bit of fine tuning in the third video segment. Okay, so let me start this thing. And first of all, save. And then